Hi. Yeah.
Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm Elizabeth. What is your name?
It's nice to meet you, Elizabeth. I'm Richard.
Richard. Nice to meet you too. Richard, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Brazil. What
hmm
about you?
I'm from New Zealand. So you say born and raised. So are you still in Brazil or are you living somewhere else?
No, I'm still in Brazil.
Still in Brazil.
I live in
Okay.
the state. I live in the state of São Paulo in a city named Guarujá. It's
What is
near the
ya?
coast. Yeah, it's
Okay.
near the coast. So, for example, there are a lot of beaches near here,
Uh-huh.
and it takes me only 10 minutes.
Nice. 10 minutes driving to get.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm driving by motorcycle, so yeah,
Nice.
it's
Nice.
pretty close.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So you're like right next door to the ocean. Lovely.
Yeah, are you currently in New Zealand?
Yes, I am. I'm also next door to the ocean. It's a 2 minute walk. Like,
2 minutes?
yeah, but I'm next to I'm in the middle of a city, so it's not a beach, it's a waterfront. So like where it's not quite a dock, like it's more of like, so the city is by the ocean, that kind of like, it's all
I
concrete and stuff.
see. When it,
It's yeah,
go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's near a port, I would say. It's not a port, but it's near a port. So, but
I
I'm
see.
from a city called Tauranga originally. I live now in Wellington, the capital, but I'm from a city called Tauranga, and that's a beach city, like lots and lots and lots of beaches. And yeah, I had a beach about 5 minutes drive from my home there. So yeah, I also grew up by the sea. In New Zealand, everyone is kind of by the sea because we're islands. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I know what you mean. And
cool.
I was going to say that it's when I search New Zealand on the internet, it's so beautiful. There are so many beautiful landscapes there. And what is the weather like there? Is it really cold? Is it normal? Is it fresh?
At the moment, it's pretty cold still. It's spring, but spring in New Zealand is like more like the weather is choosing between winter and summer every day. So some days it's winter again, and some days it's summer. It kind of goes up and
Mm,
down. At the moment, it's winter again, but last week it was summer. So yeah, it's starting to get warmer in general, but it's still pretty cool. It doesn't really get hot here until about late December. Then we start to have hot days. Yeah, January is very warm. But for you, our summer would be like winter probably, because Brazil gets so hot. Maybe not if you're from Sao Paulo, because Sao Paulo can get quite cold, right? But like if you're from Rio, like Rio in winter is 25 degrees. New Zealand in summer is 25 degrees. So yeah.
mm. So when you mean 25 degrees Fahrenheit or
Celsius.
Celsius?
Celsius. We do Celsius. Yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
okay, there it's fresh. So 25 degrees. It's not that bad. In Brazil, it's like where I live, it's like that. But during hot days, it's like 30 degrees, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Mm,
really hot.
mm.
It's good to go to the beach though.
Yeah, well, 25 is also like it's weird. I think this, and I've actually had Brazilian students who live in New Zealand tell me the same, that the sun is different here. So like in Brazil, 25 degrees, um, it's not the same as 25 degrees here, because here the sun like burns on your skin. So if you're in the sun, you can really feel the sun. But if you're not in the sun, then you're cool, like you're fresh, like you were saying. But as soon as you're in the sun, like you're burning immediately. I think it's because of the hole in the ozone. So we have all the radiation. Whereas in Brazil, I think it's hard to get away from the heat. Even when you go inside, it's still hot and things like that. But here, under a tree, you're nice. I'm not under a tree, you're not nice. It's too bad.
Ah,
Yeah.
I see. And I saw in your profile you are what is it called? A psychologist, aren't you?
I study psychology, so not a psychologist yet. Hopefully in
Uh,
a few years. but I am completing my master's in psychology. So after this year, I will have done all my study. But then I have to do registration, which is another process to become a psychologist.
But don't you need to be a psychologist to apply for a master's degree in psychology?
Not here, not here. No, you need to have a master's degree to apply to become a psychologist. So it's the opposite way around. Yeah.
So what did you study in college?
So I did a Bachelor of Arts in psychology and Spanish. And then I started my master's just in psychology last year. So yeah, this year I'm doing my thesis, and that will be finished in February. And yeah, then hopefully I can get a job working in some way in psychology related stuff. And then after I get the job, then I can apply for registration. So it's quite a process. It takes about 7 years to become a psychologist here. So it's a long process. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is. I've just graduated from college. I am an electrical engineer, and it took me 5 long years to graduate. And 7 years, oh my gosh.
But
a long time. I hope
but I think
it's worth it. Is it well paid there? Is it well paid there?
Well paid? Yeah, I think so. It's probably not like doctors are 7 years and they're really well paid. Psychologists are probably as well paid. It depends a little bit on what field and stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit, unfortunately, I think the field of psychology is not very straightforward. They don't have a good system to get people through it. But in New Zealand, like in Brazil, a degree is 4 to 5 years. In New Zealand, a degree is it's only 3 to 4 years here. So my degree was just 3 years, and then I do a master's on top for 2 years. So I study 5 years and I have a master's. You study 5 years and you have a bachelor. So it's a little bit different. Yeah, I think for you,
it is.
It would be a longer process. But maybe in Brazil, after 5 years, you can be a psychologist. I don't know. Here, it's a bit strict.
I've been reading a lot of things about psychology recently, and I've learned something called the tapping method. I don't know. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't know. Maybe if you describe it to me, I might know.
Yeah, it's it'll be hard to describe it in English, but it's for example, our body, we have certain points have a connection with our brain. So if we tape it, is that right? Tape it?
Tap.
Yeah, if you tap it exactly on these certain points, we can have improvements. For example, if we are afraid of doing things, if we have phobias. So it's so interesting.
Have an element of mindfulness that's involved. So I don't know if you've ever heard of mindfulness, but mindfulness, what you're kind of describing is some levels of anxiety about doing certain things, and mindfulness is a really good way to deal with anxiety. But if you're kind of stopping for a moment and you do this sort of tapping and stuff, it may also kind of just get you to have a moment of what would you call it, we can get so busy in our heads, and then we can have a moment to just be present, and just sort of refocus and stuff. So in a way, it might be helping you to just kind of focus on something different and have a moment to be present and not be worried or anxious about what people are doing or thinking. Yeah, there are lots of methods. There's things you walk into a room and you count objects or something like that to kind of instead of walking into a room and thinking, what is everyone thinking of me? You kind of go, okay, I can see one bird, I can see one pencil, something like that to help be present. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look at the tapping method. I haven't heard of it.
It's really great. And I think I might have had some bad experience in the past, and that has been affecting me to this day. But I can't remember exactly when. And yeah, because it's part of psychology, right? Sometimes when we have experiences in the past, it affects us to the
Yeah.
fluently.
We learn from our experiences. So they teach us to
Yeah.
behave in certain ways or to think certain things. Yeah. It's how we end up with like stereotypes and phobias. So we have a bad experience with a certain sort of person. So we stereotype all those people to protect ourselves, these kind of things. So everyone has that. Yeah. Everyone's affected by the experiences of their past, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd like to, for example, here on Cambly especially, I was so afraid of speaking in English with native speakers. But right now, I've been studying so much here that I'm so comfortable here to speak with you, a native speaker. So I don't feel afraid of making mistakes, of thinking about what people are thinking of me. So yeah, it's great. It's a great improvement. And I think when we overcome that fear, we can make the most out of everything in our lives, I think.
Very cool. Yeah, you replace negative experiences with positive experiences, right? So hopefully by now, after all your time here, you've had lots of positive experiences speaking English. So now you can feel safe and confident when you do it. Yeah.
And
very good. Awesome.
Sorry? Go ahead, please. I was going to ask you, do you speak another language?
Eu falo pouco de português. Yeah. Aprende no Rio de Janeiro 5 anos atrás. Yeah, about 5 years ago. So, but I don't speak very well.
No, you speak really great. I could understand everything.
Yeah,
great.
but it's like pretty basic. So I have to practice more. Yeah. Anyway, we're unfortunately out of time. But yeah, it was really nice to meet you, Richard. You were my last class today, and it was a really nice last class. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love talking to you too. Thanks so much. Have a great night and
yeah, have a good weekend. It's Friday here, so I wish you a good Friday tomorrow.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.